How you doing, guys, and welcome to this week's episode of Toolbox TV. I thought this week I'd take the camera out for a bit of a walkabout and just see how we could get on with walking around with the camera, of course. Not that you wanted to hear about camera tricks today, but your toolbox tip, I guess, this week. What I want to talk about is consistency and how being consistent can actually help you to retain customers. Particularly if you're interested in building long-term relationships with your customers, which is something I think you really should be interested in. And it sort of all came about this week because I took my 6-year-old to have his haircut. I can't get used to saying 6-year-old. I've been so used to saying 5. But my 6-year-old, I took him to have his haircut to the place where we regularly take him to for his haircut. And I was sat there thinking to myself, why do I keep coming back to this same place? Because, you know, it's a little bit further away from our home than 2 other places. There are 2 other places closer to home where I guess if I was having my haircut, I would probably go there. As you can see, I don't have mine cut. I run a buzz razor over mine. But I was thinking, why do I keep going back to this same place with my 6-year-old? And I will go with the 18-month-old when it comes time for him to go through regular haircuts as well. But I think the reasoning behind it is consistency. You know, when we arrive there, every single time we get treated pretty much in the same sort of manner. Every single time that we take him there, he is offered a choice of chairs to sit in. Now, the reason he has a choice of chairs is because they run all sorts of different chairs for children to sit in so that the child can be entertained when they are having a haircut. So they have motorbikes, they have cars, they have a spaceship, little things like that the child can actually sit in and be entertained. Now, I know in time to come the 6-year-old will grow out of that and that won't be a factor. But some of the other things that, you know, it's the method. They're always dressed nicely. They wear like a maroon kind of uniform. They're always dressed immaculately. The floors are always kept immaculately clean. You know, after every cut, they sweep up, they clear up. The parents are offered a cup of coffee while they wait. And this happens regularly and consistently. And there is no change. It's familiar. You're going to an environment that is familiar, that you know you're going to be treated the same way every single time. You know that when you talk to them, when you deal with them, you're getting the same level or the same standard of service pretty much every single time. And people like that, customers like that. And I guess that's my toolbox tip is, you know, you need to look at the way you perform in your business and the way you deliver your service. Are you being consistent with customers? You know, when you issue a quote for a job, is it consistently issued in the same manner, on the same sort of paperwork? Is it presented in the same manner, regardless how many times you've worked for that individual? You know, what can happen is visit 1, you do a really nice quote. Visit 2, you do a really nice quote. Visit 3, you think, oh, they know me well enough, I'll just jot it down on an email, I'll send them an estimate, and they'll be happy with that because they know me and they know what I'm like. But then you start to break that consistency. You start to break the way that they view your business, the way they see your business. The very same thing can be said for clearing up after yourself. You know, when you're on a project, do you take the dustpan and brush out and clear up? Do you get the hoover out of the van and clear up after yourself and make an issue of that and make an issue of doing that properly for your customer? Or do you get to a point where eventually the customer gets to know you and you say to yourself, well, you know, they can take care of it because they've become familiar. They may even say to you, you know, don't bother about that, I'll do it. But then you drop in terms of the standard of service that you provide and the consistency in the work that you actually do. Same can be said for shoe covers. You know, do we arrive on a new project and think to ourselves, oh, we'll impress them by putting on the shoe covers? Second time we get to the property, we might do the same thing. We might put them on to impress them again. By the third time, we think we know them well enough, they know us well enough, well, I'm not going to bother with the shoe covers. And as I said, this affects people's judgment of you. It affects their perception of your service. And you could be the best sparky in the world, you can be the best electrician in the world, but if you're not delivering a consistent level of service, then your customer will start to view you in a different light. And it's one of the reasons I keep going back places that I go back to, because of the consistency and the way that you get treated. And if I'm doing it, you can bet your customers are doing it as well. So until the next time, continue to learn and grow, and I'll see you in the next video.